Yay, hello everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're all here. Thank you so much, especially choosing this afternoon to create something fun with me. I'm so excited. A few things. I'm Shelly. I'm also known as Letters by Shells on social media. So if you heard about the workshop from my social accounts, thank you so much for being here. But in general, I'm so happy to see you all and to meet you virtually as well. So this is a really fun workshop today because we're going to create this like fall themed pattern and hand lettering print that looks like this. And we're using all of my favorite supplies from Zebra. This workshop is in collaboration with Zebra Pen, and I'm so honored to have them here as well. Lisa, I don't know if you want to just like say anything.
Thank you everybody so much for joining. And if you have any kind of questions, we're here to help out. Just go ahead and put them in the chat.
Awesome. Yay. Well, thank you so much again for being here, everyone. So excited. So for the workshop itself, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You can still see like a like small video of me as well. So I will check the chat box from time to time, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see what I'll be working on today. Yeah, so this is it. And I'm going to go ahead and give me a moment. I'm going to open up my chat box to make sure I don't miss a question. But yes, I am so happy that you're all joining me. I hope that you're just as excited to create something and just to have fun. Think of it as this moment just to create for yourself and just to like be like lost in the art creation process. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And yeah, awesome. So with everything that I do, when it comes to like creating patterns, I like to first off like choose a color palette just because it makes it a little bit easier to know like what colors I'm choosing from, just because like there's so many different colors to choose from, of course. So with this one, I'm going to choose like a fall theme type palette. It's a little bit more like colorful. So like I have like a mix of it of like the green color, but also like a mix of like fall themed colors as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab my Mildliner pens and just kind of like give them a few swatches so you know the color palette that we're working with. At this time, if you have questions, feel free to ask away. Awesome. Okay, so those are going to be the leaves that I'm going to be drawing, and these are the little florals that we're going to be doing this color, along with some details with this color. And the pumpkin is going to be this color. Yay! So it's like really fun, and we're just going to go ahead and like outline a bunch of things with the Sarasa clip pen that we're going to be using, just to kind of like give like that final detail touch to all of the elements here as well. Yeah, and can everyone also hear me okay? I guess Lisa, you can hear me okay, right? Just want to make sure. Awesome. Yes. Okay, cool. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we chose our color palette. So that's the color palette that we're going to go ahead and just pick from. So if you'd like, go ahead and pick out 6 colors that would just be like, I guess something that makes you think of like fall, but also like fun and colorful, and just keep those 6 colors next to you. So that way it's a little bit easier to create the entire art process. Yeah. And then with that, let's go ahead and draw some leaves, which is my favorite. So I'm going to go ahead and with the Mildliner pens, I'm going to actually use the fine point pen right here on the other end. So with that, with like, I guess all my classes, what I like to do first is I like to demonstrate all the little elements first, and then kind of talk about like step by step how to like create the individual ones, and then we'll go ahead and bring it over to placing it on like a pattern placement, what that looks like. So that way it's basically taking it step by step, and we're not tackling this like head on right away. So we'll go ahead and do like a breakdown of the elements first. So the first step with the leaf, I'm going to again use the fine point pen, and when I paint like or like when I draw leaves, I like to actually draw like a stem, just like almost like a curved stem like that. Go ahead and zoom in as well. And then with that, we're gonna go ahead and draw some like teardrop shapes on the very top in the beginning here. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw like a teardrop shape right there, just like that. And then we're just gonna go ahead and fill it in. It doesn't have to be like all the way in, just go ahead and like leave a little bit of like negative space in there as well. And we're gonna go ahead, just kind of continue that process, adding these little curves here. That. And then when it comes to leaves, you can draw them like symmetrical on the other side, but you can also kind of have them like overlap each other. Like that. So with this leaf as well, if you'd like to like change the direction of where the leaf is going, you can also like draw it a little bit bigger and then have these little tips right here, like pointing downwards a little bit, and it will kind of change the direction of the leaf as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and add more stems to them. Only if you'd like, but we're going to go ahead and also add like fine details with the pen as well. Okay, so with that, I'm going to draw a green leaf along with a brown one as well. And for your next leaf example, go ahead and draw it where it doesn't have as many petals. So I'll go ahead, maybe do one right there, and then maybe one right here and one right there as well, just to kind of how you kind of like change it up a bit. Awesome. And then I'm just going to go ahead and draw one more leaf, which is the, it's like a deep, like red, almost like a copper, like an orange red color. So again, I'm keeping the same format of like the teardrop shape and just kind of changing the direction of the angle. So I would recommend drawing the teardrop shape first and then going back and reshaping it as you'd like. Yeah, so those are like the elements for the leaves, and we'll go ahead and do like the outlines at the very end. Yeah, any questions so far with the paint or drawing the leaves? Let me know if you have questions. I can check the chat box as well, but I hope that you're having fun, just like drawing these little illustrations and fun doodles. Cool. So the next step here would be also drawing like individual florals that we're going to go ahead and do. So what the floral looks like is I'm going to go ahead and draw like another stem like that, just with the brown color. And then with the yellow shade here, I'm going to go ahead and draw 3 little dots on the top right here. So 1, 2, and 3. And they're kind of like spaced out a bit. And I know it doesn't look like much, but I'll definitely go ahead and explain like the detailed drawings afterwards as well. Yeah, so with that, any questions so far? Just want to check in with y'all. Hope that you're still feeling good and feel happy about this. And for the pumpkin illustration, I'm going to go ahead and down here, all we're going to go ahead and do is draw like a oval. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use the Mildliner tip for this one. And then basically drawing like an oval right here like that. We go back in and draw like another, or like color another layer in as well. Yeah, Cool. So with that, that's like, I know it doesn't look like much. I promise I'll show you the illustrations and everything. So afterwards, any questions so far with the elements that we drew? That you're still feeling good about this. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. So for the first illustration of the leaf, I'm going to go ahead and use the fine tip, like the Sarasa clip pen, just to go ahead and like give some details. So when it comes to adding details, I like to kind of like do like an offset example. So I'll go ahead and start with my stem first. I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna start with my stem first, like that. And then I do see the comment, Kayla, I'll go ahead and do another leaf in just a second. And then now I'm gonna go ahead and now outline this shape. But again, the goal is to kind of like offset it a bit. So I'll go ahead and draw like a line here, and then basically bring it back down right here like this. And my goal for this is to kind of add a little bit more like details to the leaf is going back inside here and drawing like almost like a line that goes over and then back over less like that. So it has like a small little like spacing in between. So the arrow, like the line that I drew, it looked like this, just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and complete that same process throughout the whole thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my up here, and then going back down. And like the goal is to kind of offset it, but like let's say if it's too close, what you can do to offset it is the next line going down, just go ahead and just make it a little bit smaller. I'm gonna go ahead and add those lines as well, and kind of like continuing that same process. Lines, and then another leaf. Just like that. So the goal is to kind of do it like all like in one stroke. I know there's times like I have a habit where I want to go back and like keep on like outlining it as well. But because we're doing the like the detail pens, you might be able to see that additional step. So go ahead and just like do it in one go. And if you don't like it, just look away. I promise you it looks amazing. So the request also, I'll go ahead and do the other details in just a bit, but the other request was to draw another leaf. So I'll go ahead and do that. So with that, I'm going to use like the fine point tip here, and then the leaf itself with the illustration, we're just going to go ahead and draw like a stem that's like kind of like curved a bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and draw like teardrop shapes at the top right here. So I'm gonna go ahead, start at the very beginning tip and draw a curved line here. And then another one that goes back down. So like they're teardrop shapes, but not, I guess like, they're like almost like almond shaped. I apologize. For a minute, I thought I was drawing teardrop shapes, but think of it as like a really long almond shape. And then in order to kind of like change the direction of this leaf as well, you can go ahead and kind of extend by adding like a point at the very tip right here, just like that. And then the next step is just to go ahead and color it in. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of complete that same process. And then the bottom right here, draw another curved circle right there, and then another one back down, which is like completing that almond shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of like offset them a bit. So I'll draw on the other side. Like that. And if you run out of room, you can always add more stem to it as well. I'm just gonna go ahead and color this in. Just like that. So going back to adding the details, basically I'm gonna go ahead and do this exact same format with the other leaves as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my stem here first. So drawing my upstroke like that, and then drawing a stem here, or not stem, but like drawing the leaf right here. And then just kind of like going back and adding my little line that looks like this. And then just go ahead and complete that. Like that. And then I go ahead and do the same thing, adding the stem here, offset them a bit, offset this again. And then just kind of completing that same motion. So any questions so far with adding the details and the lines with the leaves? I hope that's straightforward and it makes sense as well. So the next one for the floral here, we're just gonna go ahead and kind of just like outline it. I know it's kind of like hard to offset this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just add a line next to it. And then in order to draw these like little circles inside the floral, they're gonna look like this. They're just honestly like little squiggles that I'll do. So I'll go ahead and outline like the circle first, like that. It's just like a rough circle that I'm doing. And then I'll go ahead and create some like squiggles inside of it and like kind of around it as well. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing. But the goal is to kind of like have like squiggles, but I guess not too many squiggles because we want to still make sure that we see the yellow dots. That. Okay, so then again, it's like just like a circle, and then I'll go ahead and add some like squiggles around it. You can go ahead also if you want to, you can kind of just add some like twirls like this. Or you can go ahead and draw them a little bit looser. So again, it's just like little scribbles that look like that. I know it's kind of like weird to kind of explain, but I hope that's like, that makes sense. So kind of applying that same concept onto the florals itself. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and while you're working on that, I'm going to outline this leaf as well. Just like that. And then I'll give you all a minute and we'll go ahead and practice drawing the pumpkin. Honestly, it took me a couple of tries because then I was like, okay, how is a pumpkin? I kept drawing like an orange or like an apple. So I hope we could do it together. So with this one, I might want to draw them a little bit bigger, but we'll go ahead and do that for the pattern itself. So with this one, when it comes to pumpkins, honestly, I like to draw something that looks like this first in this center point, just kind of giving like a good gauge. So it's like a rounded like rectangle that I'm drawing. But I kind of went back and like retraced my lines. You can do that. I feel like it kind of gives a little bit more details to the pumpkin itself, but I'm trying my best not to like overdo it. And then let's go ahead and draw another one, kind of just like outlining the rest of the pumpkin itself. So it's like drawing an arrow that goes up here, or not arrow, but like drawing like a line that goes up here and then back down again, and then curving it as well. That. And I'm just gonna go ahead and draw on the opposite side. So depending on how big your oval is, you can draw like more sections with the pumpkin as well. But the one that I drew here, we're just going to go ahead and focus on this one, where it's just like a 3-line. And then I'm going to go ahead and now finish off this pumpkin and just go ahead and adding those curves lines. I think the key to like drawing the pumpkin is to make sure that the sections right here are like all curved. So that way it looks like a smooth rounded pumpkin. So now for the pumpkin itself, like honestly, I wanted to like make sure it looked like a pumpkin. So I'm going to add some details. By the details, I'm going to just add some lines that go down right here, maybe some lines that go down here as well, and another one right here, just to kind of like give it some dimension. I'm going to go ahead and just draw a couple more leaves. Okay, so I ended up drawing more lines. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna like overdo this pumpkin. It's gonna be like too much ink. So I'm gonna go ahead and now finish off the pumpkin itself, and we're just gonna go ahead and draw like a stem up here. So like I'll just draw like one line and then back down like that. Okay, And then just to kind of finish off the pumpkin, I'll just draw like that, like the vines that usually are on it. That looks like that. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and have you like work on that. I'm just gonna draw another pumpkin right here just to kind of give you a bigger, like another example if you want to draw it bigger. Yeah, but feel free if you have, any questions in the meantime, feel free to type it in the chat box as well. Honestly, I have a hard time drawing pumpkins, so I really hope that this also looks like a pumpkin to you as well. I have a tendency to draw like oranges or apples, so. And then drawing my little stem right here. And drawing some vines. Oh yeah, so the pumpkin, that's a great question. So the pumpkin size is almost like a quarter. So I'm gonna take a step back and kind of like give you some dimension. This is like a 5x7 sheet. And yeah, so like they're gonna be really small. I just like zoomed it in so you can see like the fine details as well. But yeah, I think this is like about like a quarter size, and this one should be about like maybe like two, like, yeah, I think they're all going to be about like a quarter size to like a dime. So that way you kind of get that idea. Oh, thank you so much for the kind words. Oh, yeah, no, that's a great comment about the coloring inside the lines. I know I'm like breaking all the rules here, and we're basically doing the opposite of that. But I just feel like it adds more like detail and like dimension to it. So I hope that it looks fun. So far, any questions with our illustrations that we're going to go ahead and do? Because then now we're going to bring it over, and I'm going to talk about the lettering in just a bit, and then we're going to talk about like the placement of itself, like how to basically create that pattern piece and like my process in doing that. So I'll give y'all a minute. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and grab my lettering template. This was also provided to you on the Michael's website. If you like signed up, it's also there. And if you did not download them, make sure to download it. I think it should still be available right now. Or yeah, if you can, we can link it over as well. Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for the kind comments, just for being here. So exciting. Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Felicia, for linking it as well. We linked over the lettering template. So with this, basically, my whole process in doing this was like a process called faux calligraphy. So we went ahead and wrote the hello first, just using like a one line first, and then going back and like filling it in. So I'll go ahead and kind of explaining what that looks like. Oh, Lisa, thank you so much for, oh, you're so sweet. I really appreciate that. So with this, I'm gonna go ahead and let's actually use, I'm gonna make sure, yeah, we'll just go ahead and use the pen itself. So this is my script that I created for the class and for you all. So my goal for this is basically to draw everything using one stroke first, like that. And I think this might not be a good example. Hold on. Let me go ahead and explain to you here. So I'm going to go ahead and write the word hello first. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw like with like one pressure only. So this is like in my lettering, it's almost similar to like cursive, but I'm doing it in like my lettering calligraphy style that I would typically do it in. and which you all have that template for. So I'm basically writing the word hello, but basically to make it like look calligraphy, we're gonna go ahead and draw a parallel like downstroke line. We're gonna draw another parallel line next to every downstroke. I'm sorry, that makes more sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and start out on the outer side right here and basically draw a line that connects up on the top and just drawing a line that goes all the way back down like that and just go ahead and close it at the very ends here. I'm gonna go ahead and now continue that same motion right there like that. And just go ahead and just draw parallel lines next to like every downstroke. It doesn't matter if it's like on the outer or inner side. Typically, I like to do it on the outer side. It seems to be a little bit more easier in terms of like spacing. But I guess the goal for this is to make sure that you have a good amount of spacing in between each of the letters to create that downstroke motion. And I'm gonna go ahead and create that additional downstroke. Oh yeah, so on the page side that was provided to you, it's actually like the exact same one. It's just like in different color. Yeah, but you can use that as your template and trace over that as well. It was only one printout. Okay, so awesome. So after you go ahead and draw your downstrokes, we're gonna go ahead and just handwrite the word fall in all uppercase letters. So I'm gonna go ahead and write uppercase F and then A, L, and L, just being mindful of the spacing in between. And just to kind of like draw some like dimension to my lettering piece, I'm just gonna draw some lines on the left-hand side right here and one on the right-hand side like that. And then just like I did up here, I'm gonna go ahead and identify all the downstrokes and draw a parallel line next to it as well. Okay, as a parallel line right here. Just like that. Okay, so I hope that's kind of like straightforward. And so after you go ahead and do that, we're gonna go ahead and now use like our pen here and just go ahead and fill it in. So the ultimate goal is to like trace it over and fill it in, but I'll go ahead and show that later. But the goal here is to color in the downstrokes right here. So then it looks like calligraphy style lettering. Like that. Okay, so ultimately I'm gonna go ahead and actually trace over the upstrokes because then it's like a different color on my screen. Yeah, any questions so far with everything? I hope it's like straightforward and it makes sense in terms of like what we're doing with the lettering style. Just go ahead and reference the template if you'd like. Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and take a moment to like read the chat box as well. Oh, I'm reading. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for the kind comments. Okay, so you can see the example. Oh yeah, so Taylor, we just linked it over. So in the link, there's like a download where you can just like download it and print it for your use as well. Yeah, awesome, Gail. Love that. Oh, the drawing itself. Okay, no, that makes sense. Oh, I'm sorry. I just read your comment after. I don't actually have one for that, but I actually posted this on my social media account. So if you go ahead and check out my Instagram at Letters by Shells, it's my most recent post. And there's a picture of this that I posted. So you can go ahead and reference that. Okay, awesome. Awesome, yay. Okay, just wanted to like make sure I read all the comments and everything. So far, any questions with the pattern illustrations and like the lettering itself? I hope you're all feeling good and feel excited about this. So now the next step is to identify, okay, how am I going to add all of this onto like my final sheet of paper? So with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and use like my 5x7 sheet here. So when it comes to like doing like patterns, I like to always do like the bigger elements first. But the trick about this one is that we also have lettering involved. So I want to make sure that I account for the spacing of the lettering itself. So I'll go ahead and sketch out my lettering portion in the beginning, and then I'll go ahead and now draw in the rest of the elements also. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and do that. So honestly, when it comes to lettering, you know, I get nervous too, like where it comes to like just doing it freehand. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my pencil and just go ahead and trace out the hello fall first, and then we'll go ahead and break it down step by step. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and do it on the right-hand side right here, just following this template. Okay, so let's get ourselves ready. I'm gonna go ahead and I want to make sure it's not too low. So I'm gonna do it kind of up here. And we can always erase the pencil afterwards. Yeah, and then fall next underneath it. Okay, I'm gonna actually erase this. It's not centered, but I wanted to above the hello. So give me a minute. And then drawing my lines right here. Hopefully you can still see the fall. I know I kind of erased it a bit. Oh, James, thank you so much for the kind words about my Instagram account. I really appreciate that. Oh, yeah. And also, if you have any questions about anything, yeah, feel free to, again, to chat it in the chat box. But also, I see a couple of you posting me on Instagram. If you are like taking photos of like your artwork itself, feel free to tag me and I'll go ahead and repost it on my end. I would be so honored to like see everyone's creations. That'll be so much fun. So with that, okay, so any questions so far with the placement? I hope you're still feeling good. So for the pencil itself, I recommend honestly, like as long as like your pencil tip is like not like super sharp, if like you just sharpened it, I'll go ahead and like dull it out a bit. So that way you're like able to draw very lightly with your lettering style. Oh yeah, and then also, oh yeah, Felicia mentioned if you do share it, you can tag me and also make sure to tag Michael's and make it with Michael's in Michael's classes. And I'll also do the same, Felicia, when people tag me, I'll do the same tags. Love to see it. Oh, Maria, thank you so much. Oh. Oh, thank you so much for all of your love and support. And oh, that's so amazing. Thank you so much for being here, Anne. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, so now with that next process, so after we're done with our lettering style, we're gonna go ahead and then draw in the rest of the elements. So when it comes to like drawing the patterns, I like to actually do the pumpkins first because they're like more like a bigger element and I want it to be like the star of like the entire piece. So with that, you can use pencil to kind of like use like a place setting, but I'm actually going to go ahead and freehand this. So with the placement of it first, I like to actually start on the left-hand side at the upper like left-hand corner and then kind of work my way downwards. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an orange circle blob right here. That. and just go ahead and kind of work my way up. I'm gonna add some spacing, do another one right here. I feel good about that. Okay, and then also, let's go ahead and kind of work our way down. So like, I'm not gonna do it in the middle right here because I do want like there to be more focus in that section with the leaves. So let's go ahead and actually do one a little bit offset right here. Round circle. That. Okay, and then drawing another one kind of right here. Okay, so then I want to make sure that I also focus on pumpkins on kind of like going off the page right here. So I'm going to draw one down here. So draw like a half oval like that. Yeah. Awesome. So now with that, I'm just kind of taking a step back and seeing, okay, do I want to make some of the ovals bigger? I think it looks fine. I'm gonna go ahead and stop. But I want to draw more pumpkins. Like, don't get me wrong, but I want to make sure that I also account for adding the rest of the elements that we worked on. So now I'm gonna take a step back and now start drawing my leaves. So I'm gonna start with the first color first, which is the color green. And just kind of like following this template here, I'm gonna go ahead and draw a leaf this way right here. So we're gonna go ahead and make it face upwards. Just gonna go ahead and take this time to fill it in. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and now take a step back and say, okay, I might want to draw the leaf a little bit smaller next time. So that way it doesn't fill too much of the space of the paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw another leaf down here. Okay, I still drew it big, so I'll make sure the next time I draw the leaf, it's going to be a lot smaller. So now, so you'll notice how like I have the leaves going in like the same direction. Let's have one down here on the bottom left-hand corner. They're going the opposite way. So it's gonna go ahead and go downwards. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a step back and see kind of like what extra room that I have. I think it looks okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and now use my brown color here and draw some more leaves. So just kind of like making them like all spaced out. The reason why I'm drawing the leaves in 3 different shades is because I want to also draw some leaves like next to the other ones here. And I feel like if it's the same shade, I can't do that. So I went ahead and chose more colors to use. That way they can be close together, but also looks a little bit more different. So I'm gonna go ahead and with my leaf here, I'm gonna actually draw one up here on the right hand side, not the very top right here, but like kind of like in between these 2 little pumpkins right there. And drawing my arrows. Okay, and then taking a step back and saying, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and draw one right here now on the left-hand side, but like maybe towards the center point, and let's kind of have them like go in different directions. So kind of like that. Yeah, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and color this all in. Okay. And then taking a step back, we're gonna go ahead and actually draw one down here. kind of like in the middle point area. Let's just go ahead and draw them a little bit smaller. I keep drawing them so big. It's okay. I want to make sure that I still have enough room to work with. So I think the next step, I'm going to go ahead and not do any more like of the brown leaves here, because then I don't want them to like be so close to each other. So I'm going to actually draw one down here and stop drawing these leaves. It's like I'm going to draw this one kind of going off the paper as well. Yeah, like that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and grab our red orange color here and draw more leaves. And the goal for this one is to kind of like make them a little bit more different. So maybe drawing them with less leaf petals and having them go in like different directions as well. So I'm going to go ahead and actually have one going downwards like that. And then and you can also like turn your paper around to like make it easier. I think I just wanted it to be like straight for you guys, so you can see what I'm doing. But if it honestly helps you change the angle of it, definitely do so. I think it's a lot easier to do that. So now let's go ahead and draw a leaf right here, because there's like some spacing in between here. I'm gonna have the leaf go in this direction. So I'm trying to follow the template that I did, but honestly, it's hard to like copy it exactly. So I'm kind of just like playing it by ear and seeing what else I want to go ahead and add. Yeah. Let's go ahead and also add one down here as well. So you'll notice that these two leaves are painting downwards. So I'm going to go ahead and have my leaf going upwards. So it kind of like helps in the different directions as well. Oh, so let's go ahead and draw this one. That. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and I'm going to stop with that because we can always add more elements later. So I just want to make sure I covered like the bigger elements. And with the other like smaller florals, let's go ahead and focus on this one next, which is this one. It's going to be these little elements here. I'm going to actually go ahead and just like kind of like draw them randomly across the paper, starting in the upper left-hand corner first. So go ahead and draw 3 dots here, like that. And just kind of like go ahead and do them across the paper here. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and draw some right here. So with this one, the florals itself, like there's no like actual like goal of what I'm doing here. I want to make sure that I'm also filling in the negative space now. So just kind of like identifying the gaps here and just go ahead and adding those. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, take a step back and stop right there and just go ahead and draw the stems. The stems are going to go ahead and go in like different directions. So you'll see up here, I'm going to go ahead and draw the stem going like this way, for example. One that goes down here. It's almost like the all over pattern is like as if like you threw a bunch of things onto a paper, like how would they land placement wise. That. Awesome. So now kind of taking a step back, there might be a little bit more that we can add. So that kind of gives me like a good gauge as to like, okay, how much spacing do I have now for everything else? So I guess we can also think of it as if we want to add more leaves. I'm gonna actually hold off on those. Let me go ahead and just draw a couple more florals instead. So drawing down up here, down here, and then also I'm gonna actually reserve this upper right-hand corner for dots instead. So it's like little dots that we're gonna be doing, not the floral itself. Actually, I'm like thinking, give me a second, everyone. How that one go here? Actually, I'm not going to draw stems for everything. So I'm gonna add a couple more like yellow dots, but not adding the stems for these ones. We're just gonna go ahead and have it as like an element on the paper. I think that could look nice. And then, okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and use this upper right-hand corner right here, but not drawing a stem for the floral itself. Yeah. So now, honestly, like when it comes to like making patterns, it's just like a matter of like taking a step back and seeing, okay, what other like sections can I fill? So it looks like the last step here, I can go ahead and possibly like draw a leaf right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a brown color shade, and we're gonna have the leaf going in. It's gonna be kind of hard. I'm gonna actually go ahead and have it go in like this direction up here. So I'm gonna start this, and then okay, like that. So now just kind of taking a step back and just saying, okay, how can we now add the details? So I'm actually going to go ahead and do this first, and then we'll go ahead and add the little details with that. Oh yeah, and Chloe, you definitely can do so. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and do these little dots in just a second after we go ahead and draw the details first, because then we'll go ahead and kind of see how much room do we have for the negative spaces areas. So with the lettering itself, I'm going to go ahead and use my bullet tip pen here and just go ahead and trace over my lettering that I created. And of course, remembering every downstroke, we're going to create that parallel line and make the lines thicker for your downstrokes. Okay. I'm just going to do them first, one pressure stroke, and then we'll go back and add the downstrokes. So now I'm going to go ahead. We're almost there. Okay. So I feel good about that so far. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and give me a second. So kind of taking a step back and saying, okay, I think it looks good so far. Let's go ahead and now start with our details and adding all the fun stuff with that. So we're going to go ahead and just go right into it. I'm going to actually go ahead and do my leaves first and then do the pumpkins and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started. I draw my leaves like this. Okay, so I kind of forgot to offset the first couple of ones. I'll make sure to do that for like the remaining leaves. So for me, I honestly like to turn this paper around just to kind of help me with the flow of drawing it. So you'll see that like some of them I really exaggerated the direction of the leaf itself. And that's totally okay. Okay, let's go ahead and draw the rest. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm drawing too many lines here. Go ahead and stop. The reason why I don't like to go over the lines itself is because every time, like especially when you're adding details, if you draw like another stroke, you can go, it kind of like you can see it very much. So that's the reason why I want to make sure that we're not doing too many like drawing more lines here, like overlapping them, because you'll be able to like see it as like the focus almost. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of continue on everything else. So then, and honestly, with some of them, if you don't really offset it, it's okay. Go ahead and just offset the other ones. Sometimes I forget and I'll just kind of like trace the actual leaf also. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of overcompensate and like draw a couple more offset ones. Okay, so we're still okay on time. Give me all a second. We're almost done. Okay, so far it's looking good. I see all my details. So now for the pumpkins itself, let's go ahead and tackle these down and remember to draw the oval first. I'm just drawing some like lines underneath just to kind of heading add more details to that. Okay. Any questions so far? I hope you're all having a good time still, and yeah, just kind of like seeing the piece come to life. It's like so cool. So with your smaller ovals, go ahead and you will want to draw like smaller pumpkins. You can definitely do so. Notice that my pumpkins are all going in one direction though. Yeah, I went ahead and I think I like them going in one direction, so go ahead and stick to that. Okay, and then drawing 2 more pumpkins. Oh my gosh, I actually forgot to draw a leaf here. Okay, so now draw a couple more. Hey Felicia, quick question. If we go over like 5 minutes over time, would that be okay?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. I hope that's okay with everyone else. I realize that we're almost close to being done, but then it's almost close to being time. So I hope you all don't mind to stick around a couple more minutes so we can go ahead and add a few more details to that. Okay, thank you so much, Felicia.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Oh, I love that, Gail. Oh my gosh. And Judith, thank you so much. You're so kind. I love it. Okay, so we're almost done with this. Drawing our last pumpkin. Okay, I feel good about that so far. And just kind of going back and adding the little like swirls for the florals itself. So honestly, these are going to be like very like rough little swirls that we're going to be doing. And again, like the goal is to like not do them too much because we want to make sure that you can still kind of like see the yellow marking as well. Kind of just like drawing like scribbles around it. And with this, it's also like important to offset them a bit. So kind of like drawing your circles around it. Okay. My gosh, I forgot to draw this other leaf down here. Honestly, I hope that happens to y'all. Like it happens to me all the time where like I'm like taking a step back and I don't see some of the leaves I didn't outline. Okay, so now with that, so honestly, like with this piece in general, it honestly like you can stop here, but if you want to add smaller little dots to kind of like complete the overall piece, you can definitely do so. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and use the same color palette that I chose. I'm going to go ahead and start with my blue one first and just go ahead and draw like random dots. We're just going to draw a cluster of 3 little dots like that are kind of like tiny around the entire piece. So like it doesn't have to be like a certain way, just whatever you feel like is going to help fill in the negative space. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there and then choose another color. Okay, so we'll keep on going. Oh. Oh my gosh, Anne, I love that. Sparkles and gems. Aw, I love that too. It's like, yeah, that it could add such a pop of everything to it. Okay, so we're almost done adding just like small little details here and there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and possibly just kind of take a step back and see, okay, is there anything else? I can actually probably draw a couple more. Okay. I think we are pretty much set. Honestly, I could fill it in over and over again and keep on doing it. But Gail, it's great. I'm just reading the comments. But yeah, this is overall the entire piece. I hope you all enjoyed creating and doing this with me to create this like fall themed pattern with the lettering template. I think it's just like so fun because honestly, getting ready for that fall season and it's just such a fun element. It's great for like prints that you can hang in your home. You can also do it for like your custom cards, anything you'd like. Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I would love to see your creations if you'd like to share them. And of course, make sure to tag me over at Letters by Shells, and I'll go ahead and repost your work. We're gonna go ahead and tag them over at Michael's and Zebra. It's gonna be so much fun. But yeah, I would love to see your art creations. Thank you so much for being here. And oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for having this chance to create with me. It looks so amazing. I love all of your, like the color palettes and like the composition itself. Yeah, all this is so much fun. Thank you everyone for joining the class today. I had a great time collaborating with Zebra Pen and Michaels. It's been so much fun. And I would love to see your art creations. If you want to tag me over on Instagram, I'll make sure to repost them on my end. But yeah, oh, I had such a good time. Thank you so much all for being here and choosing your afternoon to create with me and just to have fun. I'll stay on a few, I guess. Lisa, did you have any questions or thoughts you want to share, or Felicia as well?
We just wanted to thank everybody for joining our class today. I'm so glad to read all these comments and that everybody had a great time. Thanks so much, Shelly.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate that. Aw. Thanks so much again, everyone. Oh, thank you for all the kind words. Yeah, I honestly want to chat with you forever and have you all be here, but I know we do have to go. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I'll be happy to help out. And thank you so much for being here. Continuously create and just have fun with your art. I'll see y'all later. Bye.